Welcome back everyone for the NLP course. This is the Neuro Linguistic Programming Workshop, and this is one of the most powerful courses in my entire system. Well, actually, I say that about all my courses, don't I? Anyway, so NLP is like the superpower of law of attraction. Why do I say that? When it comes to law of attraction, how does law of attraction work? Everyone, please remember the formula with me right now. I need to feel, I need to think, I need to believe, and act as if I already have it. But the big problem is most people are not able to control their feelings, thoughts, beliefs, and actions. NLP is what gives us the ability to control the software of our brain. It gives us the ability to control the software of our brain. Let me give you an example. How many people here have been attending the DMP with me over a period of time? Raise your hands, please. Right? Have you been experiencing a lot of results there in the daily magic practice? Yes or no? I'll tell you why. Every DMP, I'm using NLP. I'm using NLP on you. I'm using NLP on people. How many of you have attended a lot of law of attraction courses before my course? Raise your hands. And how many of you can probably, and I'm not boasting about myself, but how many of you have experienced that somewhere in my course, you connected a little stronger? Yes or no? And the reason is because in the way I'm communicating, I'm using NLP in my law of attraction courses all the time. So I'm going to show you the science behind exactly what I do in my law of attraction courses, why people get those results. And that is what NLP is about. So the first session today is a complete bonus to everyone. So all of you are welcome to this, but please remember there's no recording available for this course. So it's only lesson 1. And after this, the lesson 1 is done live. If you would like to upgrade yourself to the entire NLP course, in the end of the course, you can connect with Indu. She'll show you a way of upgrading yourself to NLP. For now, let's start the entire experience of what NLP is. Everyone type in, take your notepad and make notes quickly. What is NLP? The full form of NLP is Neuro Linguistic Programming. That's the actual definition, Neuro Linguistic Programming. Now, neuro means neurons in the brain. Linguistic means the language of those neurons. Whenever we are communicating with someone or when we are communicating with ourselves, our neurons are being fired. Like whenever we are feeling something, our neurons are being fired. The only time there is no electricity in our neurons or your neurons stop firing is only one time, when you're dead. So only when you're dead, there's no neurons happening in the brain. As far as there's neurons firing in the brain, you are alive and you're thinking, you're feeling something. The language of those neurons is called as neuro-linguistic. And then the last word, what? Programming. So how do you really program your subconscious mind to achieve any kind of a result from you? That is what is called as NLP. Now, this was created by 2 founders of NLP called as Richard Bandler and John Grinder. What they did was NLP, they started learning from the best people in the world. Everyone write down, they learned from the best people in the world. In psychology, what happens is psychiatry or psychology is learned by focusing and studying sick people applied on normal people. Am I right, everyone? Psychology or psychiatry is a study of learning and studying people who are unwell and understanding why they're going through what they're going through, why they're frustrated, why they're having panic attacks, etc., etc. That is called a psychology or psychiatry. And then that same science is applied on normal people. Now, NLP is not like that. NLP is learning from excellent, teaching it to normal people. What do you think is better? Learning from sick people, applying it to normal people, or learning from excellent people and applying it to normal people? What do you think is better, everyone? Obviously, option number 2, right? That's what NLP is about. It's about learning from the best people in the world and applying that science to normal people so normal people can also become excellent. So I'm going to show you a small PowerPoint presentation now in terms of what NLP is, what it does, who are the creators, all of that. It's going to be a quick recap for all of you for who've already done the NLP course with me live twice as part of Platinum. And I'll also show you the entire list of modules that we are going to cover as part of the NLP certification course. When you practice this in detail and you show results, only after that you get certification. It's not only you don't get a certification for completing the course, but when you take the modules and you show me results, that's when you get certification after that. So let's see what this NLP course is about. I'm sharing it, a small PPT in front of you right now. Okay, so as you see, this is NLP, and the difference is most people have what I call is theoretical NLP. What I am doing here is called as practical NLP, so you can apply it in your day-to-day life every single day. It's the science of human behavior. NLP is about discovering success patterns and modeling from replicating success. In simple language, it's about discovering success patterns. Success patterns means people who are already successful, discovering success patterns from them and modeling that to replicate that success in our life. I'll tell you another definition of what NLP is. All of you, please take both your hands like this and repeat with me. Say crunching time. Quickly repeat, say crunching time. From me, NLP is about crunching time, which means achieving more things in less time, achieving a lot of things in fast amount of time. How many people here would like to cure bad habits in very less time? Raise your hands. How many of you would like to make more money in less time? Now, are there people in the world who've already done that? Yes or no? NLP shows you the science of how do you learn from those people to replicate that in your life. Okay, so that's a part of NLP also. Then NLP was developed by Richard Bandler, who is a computer programmer and a psychologist himself. This is Richard Bandler. John Grinder, professor of linguistics or languages. This is John Grinder. They both together modeled people like Virginia Satir, who was a family therapist herself. She was one of the best family therapists in the world. They also modeled Fritz Perls, founder of Gestalt therapy. People who are in psychology or psychiatry or science have definitely heard of Gestalt therapy. Then Milton Erickson, who's called as a master hypnotherapist. Now, hypnotherapy can cure a lot of things. And Milton Erickson was such a big magician. They said that when all the problems in the world were not solvable and all the hypnotherapists in the world had failed, they used to send people to Milton. And Milton used to solve all their problems. So a lot of magic that Milton used to do in his life, they've learned from Milton and put that into NLP. So there's a module on NLP later, which you'll be learning somewhere in the end of NLP called as, everyone write down, hypnotic language patterns. How do you hypnotize people while talking to people? How many of you have noticed this, by the way? Anybody's done any of these sessions with me, which are like 2 hour, 3 hour long programs with me? Okay. Have you noticed I can keep people engaged till the end? Like people don't drop. So I'm constantly using hypnotic language patterns because of which they are not able to drop. They're not able to lose interest. I'm able to keep them engaged. That's what I've learned from NLP and Milton Erickson. So that's a brief about what NLP is. What does it mean? Very simple, the language to change our neurological programming. You have more than 100 billion neurons in the brain, which creates what we call as neurological response to experience and stores them as a memory. Now, in a very, very simple language, let me explain this. Everyone take your hands like this. Say we have neurons in the brain. Come on, quickly take your hands. Say we have neurons in the brain. These neurons, they communicate with each other and they have connections. So when a message goes from one neuron to the second neuron, this one message is called one thought. How many neurons did I show you in the picture right now? Anybody remembers how many neurons? 1 billion neurons in the brain. All these neurons are communicating with each other. Okay. When they communicate with each other, that's called learning. That's called thought process. NLP is about the science of understanding these memories, understanding these thoughts, literally reprogramming that software. It's actually possible to do that. Now, linguistic means the only way in which we are able to describe our life to ourselves and to others is through language. And NLP is about to mastering language of communication to our brain. Programming means our automatic programs, our patterns, our unconscious responses, which NLP teaches us to change and install effortlessly. So as a quick example, everyone start writing, what are some of your automatic behaviors? Like how many of you here get angry automatically? Raise your hands. Okay. How many of you have bad habits like smoking or drinking just automatically? Raise your hands. Okay. How many people here just automatically feel sad? Raise your hands. Okay. These are all automatic patterns or programs in your subconscious mind. Everyone unmute and tell me, how much time do you think you can take to normal counseling if you do it for a person like this? Like, let's say somebody is going through fear of public speaking. How many of you have, just out of curiosity, come to the gallery view? Let's see how many people here have that fear of public speaking. Like if you go in front of a high profile group of large number of people, you're not able to speak comfortably. How many of you have that problem? Raise your hands. Okay. If I was to solve that problem for you in a traditional counseling and psychology method, how long do you think it will take us? Everyone unmute and give me an approximate answer.
2 weeks.
Couple of months.
Couple of months, 3 months, sometimes 6 months.
Months or
Right?
weeks.
Some of you have even gone through this experience of public speaking courses, and in spite of that, you're not been able to solve that problem completely. How many of you agree with that? Now, here is my point. Everyone listen to me carefully. If you learn NLP properly, I give you stamp paper written guarantee. Stamp paper written guarantee. I can solve your public speaking fear in 10 minutes. I'm not joking with you. In 10 minutes. That is why in NLP, what did I say? There are two definitions of NLP. The first one I told you was NLP is Neuro Linguistic Programming. The second one I told you is what? Take your hands again. Crunching time. It's about learning the science of changing the software of your brain so fast that things that can happen in 3 months, you can literally make that happen in 10 minutes. That is called literally reprogramming the software of your brain. Is everybody understanding what I'm saying here? Raise your hands, please. Perfect. So coming back to that, that's called as programming. Now, neuro connections. Everyone write down neuro connections. This is very important for you to remember this. Most people are not able to live a life of their dreams because they believe they lack discipline, intelligence, luck, creativity, energy, talent, money, resources, support, power. All of this is what experience. This is what people think they lack. Yes or no, everyone? Actually, that's not what people lack, technically speaking. People are not wrong at the surface level. At the surface level, people are right. But at a deeper level, people are wrong. What we really lack is something called as neuro connections. Everyone write down neuro connections. What are neuro connections? Most people think there is something special about extraordinary people or successful people which they are missing, but it's not actually true. Anybody, and NLP really shows us that proof that anybody in the world who are extraordinary people, they have right now what we call as neuro connections in their brain, which they've developed. And that is why they are successful in their life. Okay. As it says here, we all have the same hardware. It is just like we all have exactly the same computer, yet the performance is different. How many of you here agree we all have the same hardware given by God? Yes or no? So then why are we all operating differently? Why is one person making less money? The other person is making more money. Why is one person learning less? The other person is learning more. Why is one person having struggle in their relationships? The other person is more. It's because of the quality of neuro connections. It's because of the number of neuro connections. So I'll give you a very good example about neuro connections here. If a person has learned guitar over a period of 5 years, anybody's learned any musical instrument here? Raise your hands, please. Okay. So if you've learned guitar, for an example, okay, and let's say you've taken 5 years to learn guitar. Do you know that over a period of 5 years, when you've learned guitar, you've developed a lot of what, everyone?
Neurons.
Neuro connections, right? Like every time you play that string, there's a neuron being fired between one neuron to another, and that neuron saves that as a memory, correct? So as the memory is being saved, 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 it takes 5 years to master that science as an example. Now, all the neuro connections that this person has developed in 5 years, traditional learning says, if that person has taken 5 years, I will take minimum how much time?
10 minutes.
Possibly
5.
3 years. Most people say traditional learning says 3 years, 2 years, at least 3 years. Yes or no? NLP doesn't say that. NLP says you can take 5 years of somebody's learning and learn that in 1 month or 2 months. I'll give you an example of that. Have you heard about Anthony Robbins, everyone? So Anthony Robbins is one of my biggest mentors, and most people don't know this, but all NLP courses, or rather all Anthony Robbins courses, are actually NLP courses. Like if you literally go through an entire NLP course, practitioner, masters, train the trainer, you'll realize that all the courses of Anthony Robbins are actually NLP courses. And he calls it practical NLP, and that's what I've learned from. Otherwise, in reality, NLP is extremely theoretical, but here it's all about practical NLP. So Anthony Robbins himself was learning once black belt karate. His master, who did black belt karate, who was teaching him karate, had taken 5 years to learn black belt of karate. It takes anything between 3 to 5 years to get a black belt. Yes, everyone, for a normal average person. Anthony Robbins got a black belt in 6 months, learning from the same master. How? By learning what are the neuro connections of that master and modeling that in your life. You can actually learn how to speed up your neuro connections. So let's look at some people in the world who have really powerful neuro connections because of which they are really successful. So who are we talking about? People like Azim Premji. These are not lucky people. These are not smart people. They have the same hardware with better neuro connections. Narayan Murthy, Vijay Mallya. Well, now we should be removing this name, but unfortunately he has better neuro connections as well. Amitabh Bachchan. They have the same brain as you do, and thus you have the same potential as you do. How many of you agree? Raise your hands, please. Right? Now, this may be difficult to digest, but if you study neurology, anybody is here from science, if you study neurology, it has scientifically proven this today. And there are proofs about this. All of us have 1,000 billion neurons, nerve cells in our brain, same amount of neurons, same amount of billion neuron nerves or nerve cells. This has been scientifically proven. Every single cell is faster than a Pentium 4 computer. Okay, listen to that again. How many neurons do we have? 1,000 billion, which are nerve cells. Each is a nerve cell. And each nerve cell is faster than what? A Pentium 4 computer. And how many do you have? 1,000 of these billions. So imagine this. If all of us have 1,000 billion Pentium 4 machines in our brain right now, what do you think is the potential of the brain? Can the brain do something or can the brain do anything? Show me your hands, everyone. So what is missing? If the brain can do anything, what is missing here? Everyone tell me.
Neuroconnections.
The neuroconnections. And
Stimulation.
what we are missing is the language of how to program those neuroconnections. Is that clear? If you learn that language and you learn to create those neuroconnections faster, you'll be able to learn faster, you'll be able to scale faster. What exactly is what I'm about to show you now as part of the introduction right now. So let's look at what neuroconnections are. Now, an ordinary person like Narayan Murthy, who has no more than rupees 10,000, started one of the best IT companies in the world called Infosys. How? Better neuroconnections, right? Not because he has a better brain, but because he has richer neuroconnections in the area of business than other people. How many people here see some people are just naturally better at business? Yes or no? Well, somehow they've developed better neuroconnections in the area of business. It's not the number of neurocells that matter. It is the number of neuroconnections that makes you good or excellent at something. Please write this down, everyone, or take a photograph of this. This is very critical for you to remember. The number of neurocells don't matter. It's the number of neuroconnections between those cells matter, because that's the communication that makes you excellent at something in your brain. How many of you have heard that it takes approximately 1,000 hours of practice to be excellent at something? Have you heard about this? There's actually a book. You should go back and read the book. It's called 1,000 Hours. It says that any practice that, no, not 1,000, sorry, 10,000 hours. So any practice that you do for 10,000 hours makes you excellent. Now that comes from traditional learning again, which means you have to practice something for 10,000 hours. Now, can anybody tell me, if you have to practice something for 10,000 hours, how many months or years is that? Example, anybody? If you were to work 10 hours a day and now divide that by, let's say, 10,000 hours, how many days are we talking about? Anybody?
1,000 days. 1,000 days.
It's already 1,000 days. Yes or no?
Yes.
So 1,000 days means how many months, everyone? 1 year has 365 days.
Yeah.
1,000 days means how many? Divide that by 365.
3
Sorry?
years.
14 months approximately.
So approximately, let's say 3 years.
Yeah.
Now, do you really think everybody will be consistent enough to do those 10 hours every single day for the next 2 or 3 years? Hello?
No.
No? So let's keep it for 5 years now.
Yes.
And between that, if you have some emergencies, if you have some life problems, you get married, you have children, you get a little derailed on your life, suddenly that 5 years can become 7 or 10 years. Yes or no?
Yes.
That is why most people take 7 to 10 years to master something. But that is traditional learning. In NLP, you can learn the same things faster within 1 year. This is called as crunching time, sometimes within 1 or 2 months. I'll give you an example. Chetan, who's one of our NLP members now, and there are many such students here, who, when he started, he had no idea what is NLP. Today, he's an NLP coach in 7-8 months. Most people take 2 or 3 years of journey in NLP to even learn how to teach a little bit of NLP. Chetan has already become an NLP coach, making 2 lakh rupees in a month from doing NLP courses. How? Practical NLP. You guys are very lucky, by the way, I'm not just saying it for the sake of it. When I learned NLP for the first time, after even doing the entire NLP course twice, I had never understood what the hell did I learn. Like when I came home, I was telling Indu, kya karu? It's too much jargon. I'm not understanding anything. That is what the normal traditional NLP is. What you're learning with me, what I learned from my mentors, is practical, which gives you fast results in a very less period of time. How many of you are excited to create faster results in your life? Okay, that's what you're going to learn in NLP. Okay, so now going to the next part about what really neuroconnections are. Let's go back to one more example here. When a person does something, once they develop a connection in that area. Everyone remember this. Once you do something once, one neuroconnection has been created. It's called a neurological message. Correct? Then when this neurological message repeats many times, it develops what NLP calls a neurological pattern. Stronger the pattern, the better you become in that area. It's as simple as that. The stronger the pattern, the faster you become better in that area. Example, we've given examples like playing guitar, maths, habits like laziness, motivation. So good habits and bad habits both. Working hard, working poor, being rich, being happy, being depressed, etc. Anything. Example, previous here, if you are not good at something, then that's because you have a weak neurological pattern, less neurological connections or messages in that area of your life. NLP shows us scientific ways to develop neurological patterns for new habits, behaviors and results, and even break unwanted neurological patterns in the shortest time possible. Smoking, learning, business. And I'll give you examples of that right now from my life. I used to be a chain smoker once upon a time. I used to smoke about 2 packets a day of 20. So that's like 40, 45 cigarettes a day. And I smoked like this for about 3 or 4 years, maybe a little more. This was many years ago, many years ago. And when I met Indu, I think that was about 18 years ago at that time. I quit smoking in 2 hours after I learned NLP for the first time properly. 2 hours. How many of you agree most people struggle for years with smoking? Yes or no? If you practice and you understand NLP correctly, you can quit things like smoking in just 2 hours. I did that for myself. Okay. Then using NLP, I did this in my business also, in my coaching experience, in my training experience. I'll give you an example. About 2 years ago, I started, 1.5 years ago, I started B2C, which is teaching law of attraction to individual students, other than corporate, because for 17 years, I was only teaching in the corporate world. The person whom I learned from digital coaching has been teaching and practicing himself digital coaching for about 4 or 5 years. Now he has reached about 1 crore a month in his business after 4 or 5 years. I started digital coaching with him about 1.5 years ago. I've already reached 1 crore a month. Now, how did I come to his speed at 1/4 the time? Can anybody show me how?
Modeling.
Yes. So modeling, faster neuro connections, faster neurological messages. What he learned in 5 years, I learned from him and developed the same results in 1.5 years. Is that making sense to everyone? Now, can you not do the same with me then? Yes or no? You can. If you learn the exact same science, what I have achieved in my life for the last 2 years, is it possible that maybe some of you can replicate the same success maybe in 1 year? Yes or no? It's absolutely possible to do that if you learn properly NLP and you really start applying. That's how Chetan, by the way, learned and applied in his life right now. And that is why he started to make money as a coach in NLP now. Next part. The kind of results that you can expect from NLP are tremendous, but let me give you some examples to start with. Right? How to make rapid changes in behaviors and thus results of life, like rapid, really fast results change. Changing state of mind by choice. Like you can program yourself to feel in a certain way at a certain time and you feel exactly the same time, the same way. I'll give you an example. How many of you here have a problem waking up early in the morning? Raise your hands. Okay. And you've been struggling with that for how many years? Think about it. What if I tell you I can solve that problem for you in 15 minutes? I did that with myself, by the way. Okay, my biggest problem in my life that I struggled with was sleep. I could never get up early in the morning earlier. My biggest fight in my house was always about my sleep. There was once upon a time where I slept for more than 24 hours. They had to literally break the door to open me up. So that's the kind of sleep I had. Now I can wake up whenever I want by choice. And the best part, I can now even do it without alarm. So think, a person who could never wake up earlier without even, even with alarm and people waking me up, I couldn't wake up. Today, I can wake up even without an alarm. What do I have today, which I did not have that time? Once again, everyone.
More neuroconnections.
Better neuroconnections in that area. And instead of taking 5 years how to learn that, if I know the science behind it, I can learn the same thing faster, right? So that's an example of learning things and programming your emotions by choice. Then instant rapport building techniques, which means how do you instantly build rapport with anybody very fast? That's why I'm successful in my coaching, because I'm able to connect with people really fast. Okay, managing conflicts really fast, removing fears and phobias instantly in your life. I'll give you an example. How many people here have fears and phobias? Raise your hands. Okay, I can take any of your fears, and I really mean it, any of your fears, and in 15 to 20 minutes, I can eliminate your fears. Like, how many of you have fear of heights? Okay, like this, I can resolve it. How many of you have fear of public speaking? Okay, how many of you have anxiety when it comes to handling high pressure activities or facing some important people? This is for me, this is like 10-15 minute job. I can handle it like this. Now, listen to me carefully. I can do it in 10-15 minutes today. Does it mean right now you can do it in 10 minutes? No, not right now. Because right now you are missing what? The neuro connections. I have those neuro connections. Now, traditional learning says it may take anything between 2 to 3 years to learn those neuro connections, and you can take that amount of time. In NLP, we can teach you particular techniques and scientific ways of developing the same neuro connections within a month. So that later in life, you can always take only 10 minutes to solve these kind of problems. How many of you are interested in learning the entire science so that you can really have those number of neuro connections in just 1 month? Raise your hands. Yeah, that's what we're about to show you in NLP, how to do that. After that, generating new habits. I've created amazing new habits in my own life, like reading, learning digital, learning new computer stuff. Like, how many of you here want to be a digital coach, but you're just not able to generate new habits of doing Zoom, all of that stuff? I created all of this in my life by using NLP skills, right? Then recognize and replace limiting beliefs with empowering beliefs. How many of you remember in advanced law of attraction, I talk about limiting beliefs? Raise your hands. Now, if you do it with NLP, you can actually eliminate beliefs which are limiting beliefs in 10, 15 minutes if you understand the whole science behind it. Now, some of you are like, how? Let me give you an example. Many years ago, I had a problem called sciatica. Anybody knows what is sciatica? Sciatica is a nerve in your back. It's called the sciatica nerve. And I had to go through an operation for that called a laparoscopic operation. Most people don't know what's a laparoscopic. It's a keyhole operation. We now have a new platinum member called Dr. Shagufta, who's a laparoscopic expert. Skills in the world right now, because not many doctors know that skill. When I was going through, most welcome, Shagufta. When I was going through this about 10 years ago, I think, at that point of time, I remember laparoscopy was not very common. So
Mitesh, your voice is breaking.
literally 11 doctors in India, specifically at that time, 11 doctors in India who could do that surgery. It was like a small keyhole surgery. They would put a camera inside your back.
Hang again and again.
The video is freezing.
My video is freezing. Is it better?
Yes, sir.
Now is it better?
Okay, so I'll just restart that.
Network is little weak.
My network is weak. Okay, let's check now. I've just made some change.
Sir.
Is it better?
Sir, voice is not clear.
Voice is not clear. Hold on.
Now it's better.
Now it is clear.
Okay, is it clear now?
Yeah,
Yes,
both are
sir.
good.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. All right. So guys, whenever there is any network problem or any disconnection, just let me know. I'll immediately make some changes. I've kept everybody off mute, but remember to be on mute at the same time so that the recording doesn't go bad. Okay, so where was I?
Laparoscopic.
Laparoscopic operation.
surgery.
By the way, you know what happened right now? You know what happened right now with me?
Neuro connection.
Neuro connection disconnected.
It got disconnected. So this is an NLP, everyone write down, called as pattern interruption. It's called a pattern interruption. This is called natural pattern interruption. You can learn how to do conscious pattern interruption with people. I do this with people all the time when I'm dealing with in coaching. Okay, so in laparoscopy, I was going through that experience, and I still remember that it took me 1 year to go through that problem. Like for 1 full year, I had pain in my back 24 hours a day for 365 days, all the time. Like there was not a single minute I used to not feel that pain. And when that doctor did that laparoscopic surgery on me, you won't believe it. In 45 minutes, like there was a time in my life at that time when I did the surgery, if I lied down, I could not take my leg up even 20, 30 degrees. It was very difficult for me because I had so much pain in my back. If I was walking, after walking about 50 to 100 steps, I had to sit down. Like I didn't have an option. My pain was that bad at that time. I used to call it, like, how many of you remember that game called Mario? Do you remember? In Mario, they had something called jetpack. Like the Mario used to become big in size, right? So I used to always laugh at myself and tell Indu, I've got a jetpack. It's just going to go down in 5 minutes. And it kept happening with me for 1 full year. Eventually, when I did this laparoscopy surgery in 45 minutes, believe it, in 45 minutes, and I was not unconscious, it was a local anesthesia. After 45 minutes in the surgery room, my doctor, he finished the surgery And he said, are you feeling any pain? I felt it and I said, no. But I said, maybe that's because of the anesthesia, right? He said, hold on. He took my leg like this and he took it all the way up 90 degrees. And I was about to scream because I thought it'll pain badly, but it was absolutely normal. So what was not cured for 1 year, he cured in 45 minutes because he knew the science of how to make it happen. Is that making sense to all of you? That is what I'm talking about. If you learn this science, you will be able to remove limiting beliefs in half an hour, 45 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. That is why I call this the superpower of law of attraction. How many of you have heard me saying this many times? NLP is the superpower of law of attraction, because now you can change your beliefs at super fast speed, right? A couple of more points and then we'll start with the rest of the points here. Modeling anybody's success formula easily. Write that down. Modeling anybody's success formula. What is modeling? How many of you remember in stores, whenever you go out there are these models outside, right? Yes or no? And they're mannequins, right? Mannequins. And they're wearing these clothes. So these models are showing you how you would look in those clothes particularly. So that is why the word modeling. Modeling means if a person is very successful in life and you want to replicate their success in your life, NLP has developed a very powerful method called modeling as a science of how to replicate somebody else's neuroconnections in your life at super fast speed. So one of the things a lot of platinum members have already done in their life is they've developed a lot of neuroconnections based on modeling with me consciously. When I did the modeling experience, I actually showed them some of my neuroconnections and they were able to model that. The moment they model that, they got similar results in their life. So how do you do that? We're going to cover that in modeling of NLP itself. Write down the next one if you want to. Understanding and using the power of communication. Understanding and using the power of communication. Okay, that's the last one. Now, other than this, NLP is really the superpower about controlling the software of your brain to make yourself feel anything you want. Stop feeling anything you want. Think anything you want. Stop thinking anything you want. Believe anything you want. Stop believing anything you want. Act upon anything you want. Stop acting about anything you don't want to act upon. And the best part, you can do this in few minutes, few hours, maximum few days if you use it properly. So there is one principle that I was taught in NLP by Anthony Robbins. Write this down. If it is not working, you're not using it properly. Write that down. If it is not working, you are not using it properly. I'll give you an example of what I'm saying. Like a lot of people come to me and say, sir, law of attraction is not working for me. Hello, does that mean law of attraction does not work? Hello? No, it only means you're not using law of attraction correctly. Yes or no? Similarly, when you go to a doctor and you get a surgery done and you're like, this surgery doesn't work. Maybe the doctor didn't do the surgery properly. It doesn't mean surgery doesn't work. Correct? Similarly, in NLP, we say if you used NLP and you didn't get the result in the same amount of time that I got, it doesn't mean NLP doesn't work. It only means what, everyone?
We didn't implement it well.
Yeah, we didn't
Use it properly.
So I just need to develop better
Not using it properly. Not using it
connections.
properly.
Is everyone now clear about this? Perfect. So now you understand exactly what is NLP. Now I'm going to tell you what we include in NLP in terms of the modules, in terms of the lessons. Is everyone clear so far? Done.
Yes.
So here's what I'm going to do. Before I stop this recording, which is called as What is NLP, and I switch on to the next part, which is about learning first few lessons of NLP and the entire list of it, I'm going to invite maybe randomly right now, and I haven't even planned this right now. Are any of the old senior students of NLP over here with me right now? Okay, quickly make a list of 2 or 3 results that you've got in your life and share that briefly with the group right now by raising hands. And make sure that you write first 2 or 3 things that you've really, really created in your life. Be specific about it, not in detail, but for an example, very quick shot, like for an example, I remember with Pinky, she had driving fear for more than I think 2 or 3 years. And we were able to solve that fear of driving in just 10 minutes in front of everyone else, like on a Zoom call while we were doing the NLP session. I don't know if Pinky is here today. Pinky, are you here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, she's here. Okay. Where are you, Pinky?
Yeah, sir, I'm here.
Are you on video?
Yes, sir. No, sir.
No. Okay. So Pinky, it's okay if you don't come on video. Can you just share with the audience, what were the 2 things we took care of? One was the driving, right?
Yes, sir. Driving and the fear of that. Again,
Right.
I'm saying that.
So this one, yeah, now also you're saying depth. Fear of driving was for how long?
Sir, For 4 years, sir.
4 years. And we solved that problem in how many minutes?
5 to 10 minutes, sir.
5 to 10 minutes. So that was one. Second was a fear of death. She had fear of death where she would get into panic attacks because of that very regularly. And that was there for how long, Pinky?
So 5 years.
5 years or so. And then we solved that one also in how much time?
Sir, only 5, I think 10 minutes.
10 or 15 minutes, right? Perfect. So this is how fast you can cure. So just like Pinky shared, like very short, everyone here, let's just take 2 or 3 people. Raise your virtual Zoom hand so I can see you because there are too many people on the screen. I can't see you all right now. So Khyati, and while I'm asking Khyati to share, maybe 1 or 2 can quickly raise your virtual Zoom hand. Yes, Khyati, go for it.
So, sir, as we discussed, my surgery went very well because of just changing the modalities and the sub-modalities, taking into consideration the operation theater as a garden and going inside and making sure that I'm just lying down on the grass bed and not on the operation theater table.
So earlier, if you were in the same situation, what would have happened?
Earlier, I had already experienced that and it was a horrible experience. And that time I had a lot of fear because this I was going through after 10 years. So
Right.
10 years before I had those things in my
Memories were
mind.
also there.
Yes. So that time I had a lot of pain, but this time it was not even 0.001% pain as well. After the anesthesia was gone.
In fact,
Still,
I remember
was
you had made a
smiling.
video call from the hospital bed and you
Yes.
were sharing this experience from there.
Yes, yes.
I remember. Awesome. So that is one experience from Khyati. So her neuro connections were developed for about 10 years. We broke those neuro connections in a few minutes and we created new ones. And by the way, this one Khyati did herself. I didn't even do it myself. Like she did it herself completely on her own in a few minutes. And then she developed new neuro connections about how she experiences the hospital environment. Snehi and Harshil, go for it.
Hi.
Yes.
Few places where I've used NLP on daily basis of my life is likes and dislikes of food. Like there is something called soya, which I used to not like for years. Dietitians have been saying eat, and I should not eat. I changed it and I eat it every day. Like I ate it for dinner last night. Second place where
you had it for dinner last night also. Okay.
Second place I have used is my sleep patterns. Like I've been struggling to get up in the morning, but now it's like Monday or Sunday, Roj, I'm getting up in the morning at 8 o'clock, without an alarm also nowadays. Third place I've used, like my wife has some acidity issues, now and then. So now she can have a tea every day. Like
I used to not have tea because of acidity. I used to vomit when I used to have tea, but I'm being able to
I don't remember this one. That stopped completely?
Yeah.
Wow. Which one did you use for that? VAK, submodalities or anchoring?
I changed the tea into a buttermilk.
Oh, you did the like dislike thing. Wow. Amazing. That's a big one. Congratulations.
The
What
last piece is last point is that I used to not have a lot of patience in life. So one of your DMP, you had talk about how to have patience in life, and I anchored myself to that. So every time I hold my hands or something like that, and I'm like, I have some patience.
Yeah. So you anchored that.
Yeah.
Perfect. I think recently also we did it. Awesome. Good work. And what was the backache problem? Just share that with the group.
I have a backache and I was doing physiotherapy and, I was exercising also.
Almost
For
a month.
1.5 months, I was complaining, but you changed the VAK of the backache and next day onwards, I was like 80% better and I'm much better till now.
Wow. So you've not gone back to physiotherapy?
No, not yet.
Entire 24 hours, he's like, I can't feel my backache. Is everything okay? I'm like, oh yeah, that's great.
Wow. Amazing. Good work. All right. So that was Snehi and Harshil. Now let's go to Divya. Yes, go for it.
Hi, Mitesh.
Yes, hi.
Actually, I was having a fear about snakes.
Snakes?
From my childhood. I just attended your first webinar like this, and that was good. Now I am no fear at all.
Awesome.
That is one. Second is that I was having allergic to chicken. Whenever I have chicken, I will get rashes. Slowly, I trained my mind with all your NLP techniques. Started having little. Last 3 months, I am having.
Wow.
Not
amazing.
regularly, but
that's
whenever
a big one. I didn't think you could have used it for that. Wow. Wonderful.
That it is going fine.
Wow. Wonderful.
And third one is in office, I was having a small issue with a staff. That with the help of one of our team member, Manisha,
Right.
it is completely okay now. It's going
Wow,
well.
amazing. Yeah, Manisha's here with us. Awesome. Congratulations. Congratulations. Okay, so I'm just going to give opportunity to 2-3 more people. Let's just quickly hear their results, so that the reason I'm asking these people to share their results is because this becomes real for all the new members who are attending for the first time today. Are we getting clear about this? Right? That these neuro connections are literally being developed. Like imagine Harshil literally quit smoking, which was a 2 years habit, in just 15 minutes. A backache problem goes away. Acidity suddenly goes away. Like these are not small results. A 10-year-old fear of hospital goes away in 10 minutes and she enjoys the experience of hospital. These are not small results. These things can take years and years and years for people. Yes or no? That's why, what did I say NLP is called as? Take your hands again, everyone. It's called crunching time. Remember that? Okay, a couple of more people. Sharda and then Manisha. Yes. Go for it, Sharda.
Had a very much. Sir, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Actually, I had this thing, right from a very long time that selling is very bad, like it's like a begging. You're begging somebody and you're selling it. And today I'm a MDRT club member with many incentives with me. I've got many incentives and now I don't feel ashamed of it anymore.
Wow.
I'm not scared of rejections also.
Yes, yes, amazing. I really want to share this a little in detail with everyone. When Sharda met me for the first time in Platinum, the first session that we had with her, she said, I don't like selling. The insurance business is in her name, but her husband used to do it. She used to not do anything about it. She said she doesn't like selling and she had negative associations about it. How many people here are not comfortable selling, by the way? Raise your hands. Okay. And we did a little NLP on her. And today she's become MDRT. Most people don't know what is MDRT in insurance business. In insurance business, there is all companies have something called MDRT, which is called as $1 Million Round Table. Okay, only those people are invited to that place. And by the way, even the owner of the company is not allowed to MDRT. MDRT is very exclusive as a club. Only those people are invited who have qualified for MDRT by doing certain amount of insurance policies. How much is that amount? Is it 25 lakhs or 35 lakhs right now, Sharda?
Yes. So it's about 30 lakhs.
30 lakhs.
Now I'm going for 57 lakhs more. I'm like planning for COT, sir.
COT!
And really meeting people and I'm sending messages which I never used to do it. And I'm making strong messages based on NLP, post-framing, pre-framing, like you have said, and you have told us, all of us, now I'm using it.
Wow. Oh man, I'm so proud of you, Sharda. This is beautiful. This is amazing. When I saw your picture of MDRT, that was very beautiful. Amazing.
Thank
Everyone
you, sir.
unmute.
Thank you so much.
Say congratulations for being an NLP master. Let's go.
Congratulations for being an NLP master.
I want to remind you one example of where I practiced something similar in my corporate training world. Many years ago, I was working with a bank called Kotak. Everybody's remembered of Kotak Bank, right? You've heard of Kotak? So Kotak also has an insurance department, an insurance vertical. So I was working with them and they had, obviously they also have MDRTs. All insurance companies have MDRTs. When I met them for the first time, they had like 11, 10 MDRTs in a full year. One full year, they used to have 10, 11 MDRTs. Okay. The owner of the company met me and he said, Mitesh, I've heard about you doing these kind of courses for people where you can make people do more things in what? Everyone show me your hands. Less time. He said, can you really do that? I said, yeah, why? He said, because the CEO of my company has an ambition. Last year we had like 11 MDRTs and this year we want to have 100 MDRTs. He wants to multiply that result by 10. So he said, is that really possible? I said, yeah, of course. If you have so many people, I can train them. So he took me all over India. Literally, he took me all over India and I trained everybody on the similar skills. And that year they had 111 MDRTs. True story. And it just took their organization to the next level. How? Just having better neuro connections faster. Okay. So Manisha, here we go. Yep, go for it.
Yeah, I met with a girl who had come to me with issue of trust issue. And when she came to me, she was completely depressed. She had a very nice salon and she is very successful in her business. But वो बंद करने की कगार पे आ गई थी कि मुझे अभी ये नहीं करना है, and she wanted to go for nirvana. And the reason was it was a childhood conditioning जहाँ पे she was thinking कि there is a black magic thing and there are souls around and they will possess me, they will do very bad things to me, and काफी सारी ऐसी चीजें उसके साथ हो चुकी थी. Means she heard about it, and she had a schizophrenic relative in her family. She used to be with her, and she thought that that thing will come to me.
So she had very strong beliefs about that.
Yes, and she was not knowing about schizophrenia. She thought she is possessed. So when she came to me, I explained the schizophrenia, how it happens and how it goes to the people and how the genes travels. It's not necessary that you will get it. True. But she was completely under that impression that, okay, I was with this lady, so I will get it. And she told me that how her voice used to change, how her behavior used to change. I explained it everything. And when she came to me, she had 2 stones in her finger, and very costly stones, around 65,000 each something. And it was anchoring, I was knowing it. And she told that Baba told me, he said, ghost nahi aayenge and everything. She came to me for 2 sessions. And in 3rd session, the rings were removed. Wow. And she said, I don't want it. Recently, she went to Native, jahan pe bahar pura andhera rehta hai, and she stayed all alone in that room. And she said, now I don't have any fear of ghosts. Now she is planning to open a 2nd salon. So she is all back again.
This is powerful stuff. Yeah. This is very powerful stuff. Amazing. Everyone unmute. Say you're an NLP master, Manisha. This is extraordinary.
You're an NLP master.
NLP master, Manisha.
So this is what I like. It's not just about you doing it, but it's about now you transferring this magic to other people also. How many of you would like to learn that? It's not just about you doing it, but being such a master at it that you're able to really transfer that. Okay. So we'll take one last sharing and then we'll move towards the last session today, which is going to be about learning all the list of modules, which gives you the science. How many of you want a list of all the scientific modules in one go in the next 15 minutes, which is going to help you create better connections in less time? Raise your hands. So that's the next part. And then we'll take one lesson and go a little into detail, which is the first lesson for today. Okay. So here we go. Mamta. Yes, Mamta. Wait, let me unmute. Yeah, you got it. Bolo.
Okay, so I have many results in terms of changing feelings and changing beliefs, but I would like to share one result of mine and two to three results of my friends whom I have treated. The first one, I had used modeling and I really wanted to learn bike. It was like my bucket list, mujhe bike seekhna hai. And I used a modeling technique. I exactly asked my friend, tu pehle kaise chalata hai, mujhe dikha exactly where the legs and everything. I just learned in 2 days. And in 2 days, only 1 hour. Okay. So in 2 hours, I had almost learned it.
Awesome.
And that too a very heavy bike. It's Karishma bike. It's very heavy, but then still I learned it. And the 3 patients which I had 1 backache patient. So I used the timeline therapy. I asked her to do affirmations also, so that she uses it. So timeline therapy works very well with many of the people for me. The second one was into depression. Again, I used the timeline therapy and I changed the belief of depression into, she had a particular belief that ye aisa hota hai, matlab koi mar gaya to life khatam, and all those kind of beliefs were there in and around that. So I changed that. Literally from 4 years, she was into depression because the death of her father and her brother. But now she called me, it's like almost 1.5 months. Yesterday only she called me up and she said, Mamta, I don't know what magic you did, but I'm very happy about it. I don't feel that thought breaking my emotions or something. Literally she was on the verge of, like suicidal, mein mar jao, mere ko bhi kuch nahi chahiye, us type ka tha. And one more patient is of acidity, who of course had the acidity issues. But yes, he also had a phobia he was a claustrophobic. With him, I had to really work hard because he was not feeling the things which I had to, program him like.
He was not kinesthetic.
But, yeah. So then I changed many of the things. I had actually passed on belief from one area to other. And then it's again, now he can walk in the lift, he can move around.
Wow.
So that is really great result. These
amazing. Claustrophobic is a big one to work on. Amazing. Amazing. Congratulations. Superb. Everyone unmute. Say congratulations for being an NLP master. Let's go.
Congratulations for being an NLP master.
NLP master.
Okay, so now how many of you ready to understand? Sorry, Manisha wants to say something. Yes, Manisha? Wait. Yes, Bolo.
Yeah, I would like to share one more thing. We practice on Saturday. So unconsciously, I modeled you. I was not knowing it. And I always actually impressed with your energy and the way you speak and all. And that time we were explaining GDD. And Vijayji said, she is Lady Mitesh Khatri. It was an award for me. And it was unconsciously, as you said, modeling. I didn't miss, I used to admire you, your energy and everything, but unconsciously I modeled.
The style of teaching was modeled somewhere.
Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
Awesome. Congratulations.
And many of my friend circles, they started telling me, Miss, suddenly some people came into my aura and some actually thrown out of my aura. Yeah. The thing is, many people told me we feel very good when we talk to you.
Wow.
So it is, I think it is creating a positive aura around you.
It's true.
With the energy.
Perfect.
So
Thank you.
This is like my personal result.
Yes, yes. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so now let's do one thing. Let's take a list of all the modules that these people have mastered in order to have those powerful neuro connections in a much lesser amount of time. So I'm going to stop this recording here so that this remains only for that lesson number 1, which is what is NLP and some results of that.